na mahal kita, Joy.
Walang araw na hindi ko inisip na sana
Hello, Love Again is a 2024 Philippine romantic drama film directed by Kathy Garcia Sampana from a script by Carmi G, Raymundo, and Crystal Hazel San Miguel. Filmmaker Olivia Lamasan is credited among the story writers. The sequel to Hello, Love, Goodbye 2019. It stars Kathryn Bernardo and Alden Richards, alongside Joros Gamboa, Valerie Concepcion, and Jenica Garcia. In the film, Joy and Ethan reunite in Canada after discovering that their opportunities have changed. The first major co-production by Star Cinema and GMA Pictures, two film studios from rival media companies. The film was theatrically released in the Philippines on November 13, 2024. The film is commercially successful and received positive reviews from critics, earning $1.6 billion in box office and becoming the highest-grossing Filipino film of all time. In the spring of 2020, Ethan visits Joy, who is now working as a domestic helper in Calgary. He proposes to her, but soon finds himself stranded due to the COVID-19 lockdown. Forced to move in with Joy, their relationship begins to unravel as Ethan struggles with menial jobs while his bar in Hong Kong goes bankrupt in his absence. A year later, Ethan learns his father has contracted COVID-19. He rushes back to Hong Kong, but arrives too late to see his father, who passes away just before his arrival. Distraught and alone, Ethan has a one-night stand with a stranger, only to be caught when Joy video calls to tell him of her imminent return. Heartbroken, Joy ends their engagement 3 years later. Joy is working at a nursing care facility and applying to move to the United States to become a registered nurse. While picking up a friend at the airport, she unexpectedly runs into Ethan and their mutual friend Jae-him, who are both looking for work in Canada. At a cafe, Jae-him asks Joy for job recommendations, and she asks him for his contact number, unaware that he provides Ethan's number instead. Joy soon finds herself in awkward encounters with Ethan, leading her to believe he is pursuing her, though he denies it. At a picnic, Joy becomes jealous when a colleague, Baby, develops a crush on Ethan. In an attempt to keep him close, Joy proposes they live together as common law partners for a year, a suggestion Ethan agrees to. News of Joy and Ethan's renewed relationship excites their friends and family both back home and in Hong Kong, unaware that they are entering into a facade. However, Joy's feelings begin to shift when Ethan volunteers to help clean at the nursing home, and Jae-him reveals that Ethan narrowly survived an attack by loan sharks over his bar debts, even selling his house to pay them off. As Joy and Ethan start to reconcile, a jealous Baby invites Ethan for a chat in front of Joy. That night, when Ethan returns, Joy accuses him of cheating, but Ethan explains that Baby had threatened to report them to the IRC for fraud. In an effort to protect Joy's future, Ethan ends their relationship. Apologizing for his past mistakes, Ethan opens up, and Joy confesses her true feelings. They make love, marking a new beginning for them. The following day, Joy arrives at work to learn that her patient, Martha, passed away the night before from dementia complications. When she returns home, Joy discovers that her application to the U.S. has been accepted, much to Ethan's surprise and sorrow. Joy apologizes to Ethan, who accepts his fate, but hopes that this will be the last time he has to say goodbye to her. On her way to the airport, Joy reads a letter Martha left behind, in which she expresses regret for neglecting her loved ones and urges Joy to return home. Torn, Joy cancels her departure and rushes to Ethan's house. As she knocks on the door, Ethan emerges from the yard and the two share a heartfelt declaration of love, leading to their marriage a year later. Hello, Love Again has a good idea for the sequel, revisit the same characters in a new city. When Joy leaves Hong Kong for Canada, She's starting a new life, but with the same love, so romantic issues are sure to abound. I was thinking something like Past Lives, but one where we already knew the characters. Instead, the writers took every single idea they had for the sequel and packed all of them in. The result is a movie about everything that says nothing. 2024, directed by Kathy Garcia Sampana, screenplay by Carmi Raimundo, Crystal S. San Miguel, Olivia M. Lamasson, starring Kathryn Bernardo, Alden Richards. Let's start with the first problem. When Joy meets Ethan at the Calgary airport at the beginning of the movie, this is not the first time they're meeting at an airport in Canada. In fact, they have lived an entire life together and apart and together and apart in the 5 years since they first left each other. So much of the movie is told in flashback that it kind of seems pointless. But the movie needs all those flashbacks because it'd be impossible to piece the current movie together without them. This is when the writers should have realized that they need 2 sequels. Now let's talk about the tone. The first movie was able to maintain a nice and even light romantic dramedy throughout the entire movie. It never went overly comedic, and it never went overly dark even when it got serious. It seemed effortless. Maybe it was luck. For the sequel, the tone, like the plot, is all over the place. There is some really bad forced comedy with most of the supporting characters that is completely out of place. Then it gets bizarrely dark at times. And then finally, the romance scenes seem to take place in a telenovela and filmed in a completely different light and texture, as if they belong in a different movie. Again, they do belong in a different movie. There should have been 2 sequels. The main theme of the movie is how hard it is to emigrate. In Hong Kong, all Joy could think about was the new opportunities awaiting her in Canada, how much easier it will be to get a job as a nurse, how much easier it will be to earn more money. Here she is 5 years later, and it's still a grind. She's still not a fully qualified nurse. She's still working multiple jobs to make ends meet. But the difference is, she's still optimistic that this is the place for her. We also see the other side of the coin and the immigrants who can't tough it out. This part of the movie is handled so fairly. The difficulties and challenges of a new life, and especially in Canada, but how they do tend to find each other and help each other out. However, this movie is supposed to be a romance between Joy and Ethan. The movie likes playing up that Joy is a different person now. She goes by Marie. But the problem is that Ethan isn't even a person anymore. A significant part of the first movie is that Joy completely changes Ethan into a different person. And now he hardly even exists outside of Joy. He is just a shell of a movie character. The first time I heard about Hello, Love Again, I was really apprehensive. The original movie, Hello, Love, Goodbye, was a masterpiece in its own right, poignant, heartfelt, and beautifully crafted. Why risk ruining its legacy with a sequel? Yet, as someone who adored the first film, I couldn't help but feel curious about what the sequel might bring. Add to that my 3 children's excitement. They couldn't stop talking about it, and I found myself in the theater, ready to give it a shot. Lo and behold, this sequel absolutely lived up to the hype. And then some. It wasn't just a continuation. It was a story with its own depth and significance. It's no surprise that it's been breaking records worldwide. It was a story worth telling with its own depth and heart. Much like the original Hello, Love Again, does a remarkable job of highlighting the struggles and sacrifices of overseas Filipino workers, AFWAs, and immigrants. As an immigrant living in Canada, I found so many scenes hitting close to home. Watching Joy and Ethan's early struggles as newcomers brought back vivid memories, it reminded me of my own journey and the sacrifices we all make in pursuit of a better life. The sacrifices that Joy and Ethan made, both in their personal lives and in love, were portrayed with such raw authenticity that I found myself on the brink of tears multiple times. One particularly touching moment was when the film showed how, even after becoming permanent residents, many Filipinos still dream of returning to the Philippines to be with their loved ones. It's a sentiment I deeply relate to, as do many others in the diaspora. The film also highlighted the resilience and compassion of Filipino caregivers. There are reasons why Filipino workers are so loved worldwide, and this movie did a fantastic job showcasing that. From the tireless dedication to the sense of community and support Filipinos extend to one another, these moments added layers of authenticity and pride to the story. The narrative takes a compelling turn when Joy and Ethan cross paths again 5 years post-pandemic. They've both changed, shaped by the hardships they've endured. Joy, now going by Marie, grapples with rediscovering what truly makes her happy. The way their love evolves in the face of these challenges was heartwarming and relatable. By the end, Joy's reconnection with her feelings for Ethan felt like a beautiful culmination of her personal growth. One of my favorite moments was when Martha, the elderly woman Joy cared for, reminded her that home isn't always a place. It can be a person you can always return to. That line stayed with me long after the credits rolled. It's a powerful reminder of the depth of human connections and the idea that love can be a sanctuary, no matter where life takes you. Visually, the movie was stunning, and its themes of resilience, love, and timing made Ethan and Joy's story so much more than just a romance. It beautifully captured the idea that love, no matter how strained by time or distance, can always find its way back when fate allows. It reminds us that love, despite many circumstances, can find its way back when the timing is right. What struck me most was how this movie resonated with the audience. I could hear fellow moviegoers reacting to scenes that mirrored their own experiences, whether as migrants or individuals who have had to make hard choices for love and dreams. Hello, Love, Again isn't just a worthy sequel. It's a celebration of the struggles and triumphs of immigrants, the resilience of love, and the power of finding home in the people that we truly love. It left me with a full heart, teary eyes, and a renewed appreciation for the Filipino spirit. Truly a film worth the wait. Upon release in 2019, the romantic drama Hello, Love, Goodbye was the highest-grossing Philippine film of all time. It was surpassed by the time-traveling romance Rewind earlier this year. Directed by Kathy Garcia Sampana, the film chronicles the struggles of overseas Filipino worker Joy, Kathryn Bernardo, who wishes to earn enough money as a domestic helper in Hong Kong so she can move to Canada for better employment opportunities. She eventually meets the cocky but sweet bartender Ethan, Alden Richards, whose growing affection for Joy puts an end to his wayward womanizing. The two bond over their respective familial woes and professional dreams as expats with fluid conceptions of home. Before Joy departs for Canada, they confess their love and promise to meet again. The film's sequel, also helmed by Garcia Sampana, fulfills the promise that Joy and Ethan made to each other, but predictably not without its share of complications. Primarily set in 2024, Hello, Love, Again presents Joy as a confident, successful caretaker living in Calgary. In between studying to become a nurse and debating a move to the United States, she helps secure domestic cash jobs for other members of the Filipino community who attempt to transition from temporary to permanent Canadian residence. Joy's relatively comfortable status quo becomes disrupted when Ethan re-enters her life after their relationship fell apart a few years prior. Much like Hello, Love, Goodbye, Hello, Love, Again has made box office waves by setting the record for the biggest opening for a Filipino film in the United States and Canada. It earned an impressive $2.4 million during its first week, which exceeds the earnings for the entire North American run of Hello, Love, Goodbye, in part because its distributor, Abramarama, secured the widest release ever for a Filipino production. Who would have thought that providing supposedly niche audiences the access to watch so-called specialty entertainment in theaters would be a profitable enterprise? At least superficially, Hello, Love, Again offers something for everyone: stirring romance, politically tinged drama, and shots of Calgary that resemble a regional tourist board's wet dream. In execution, however, the film exhibits something of a split personality by awkwardly moving between cutesy soap operatic romance and an unsparing, oft devastating portrait of the myriad hurdles facing foreign workers. Garcia Sampana visually underlines this narrative disparity by lighting the non-dramatic scenes like a romantic comedy while bathing any serious moment in darkness, if only to ensure that audiences' emotions are appropriately primed in every single moment. The lighting strategy complements the narrative structure of Hello, Love Again, which alternates between Joy and Ethan's rocky reunion in the present day and flashbacks to their COVID-era dissolution. In 2020, Ethan decided to leave his successful Hong Kong bar behind and join Joy in Calgary. But when the sudden onset of the pandemic severely impacts prospects for overseas workers, whose status in Canada was already tenuous, Joy and Ethan buckle under financial and professional pressures. Joy tries to make the best of being a caretaker for the elderly, but Ethan balks at the idea of cleaning rich people's toilets or working as a busboy, especially considering that he's a business owner back in Hong Kong. The stress-induced wedge between the two young lovers only widens when Ethan's father contracts COVID, which forces Ethan to leave Canada and Joy, behind. Even within a melodramatic framework, Hello, Love Again assumes a bracing honesty whenever it depicts the fragile, uncomfortable realities of life as a foreign worker. The frank texture of the COVID-era scenes not only capture the demoralizing details of marginal cash-only jobs, getting lost as a bike courier in an unfamiliar city, being accidentally pricked by a syringe while cleaning the trash, but also how a relationship could conceivably crumble under these circumstances. Ethan's disillusionment with Canada and Joy's determination to beat the odds and build a better life are both reasonable responses to their environment. Their arguments about their shaky future, conducted in a small basement apartment that can barely fit the two of them, display a type of authenticity that's hardly present in the rest of the film. While the 2024 era sequences also delve into the details of domestic labor by foreign workers, including the prevalence of predatory scammers and the reliance on community networking to acquire jobs at any level, they feel less integrated into Ethan and Joy's rocky relationship. Ethan's return to Canada as a softer, more humbled man initially doesn't impress Joy, who harbors mistrust and resentment for his behavior 3 years prior, but his attempt to slowly earn her forgiveness make up the bulk of Hello, Love Again. With their roles in Hello, Love, Goodbye now reversed, Joy is established in Canada while Ethan is the fish out of the water. They begin to see each other more clearly as mature adults who have dealt with their fair share of loss and compromise. Unfortunately, Ethan and Joy's romance itself only intermittently compels on its own merits. Bernardo and Richards display some natural chemistry, but they convey their emotions through repeated longing looks and pregnant pauses in speech. Their scenes together can feel unfocused solely because they're needlessly drawn out. Plus, the various plot complications that hinder their inevitable reconciliation, like a half-forgotten love triangle or Joy's impulsive decision to accept Ethan as a common law partner, generally feel like caricatured dramatic obstacles. The film's leisurely pace, its large company of broad and one-dimensional supporting players, and an unshakably saccharine tone don't help matters at all. Maybe these shortcomings are to be expected in a film like Hello, Love Again, who wears its earnestness on its sleeve. It's not inherently a deal-breaker that you can set your watch to certain storytelling beats, or that the many montages feel like bad music videos, but it's disappointing considering the film is clearly capable of more. The moments when Hello, Love Again infuses social and political realism into its melodramatic romance are genuinely effective, and anytime it falls back on hacky comedy or trite theatrics feels that much more dissatisfying. In many ways, the strengths and weaknesses of Hello, Love Again resemble those of a mainstream Hollywood picture. Maybe its box office success shouldn't have surprised anyone. When actors Kathryn Bernardo and Alden Richards face each other in the Calgary airport, sparks fly, but not in the way their fans might expect. Hello, Love Again is director Kathy Garcia Sampana's sequel to the 2019 romantic drama Hello, Love, Goodbye, which until this year was the highest-grossing Filipino film of all time. Continuing their star-crossed love story, this movie is corny and manipulative, But even for a critic like myself who hasn't seen the first movie, it's still an effective romance, and one with a harrowing political subtext that runs under the slick production values and predictable twists. The cute is relentless at first. Relentless. After a montage of flashbacks from the first film, Ethan Richards meets the woman he knew as Joy Bernardo in a location that had come to be bittersweet for them, the airport. Except when they face each other, Joy, who now goes by Marie, is there to meet another man, Kevin Crater. For some context, the long-distance romance that the former Joy and still Ethan have endured has been a side effect of a hard fact of Filipino economics. The overseas Filipino worker, known as the OFW. A movie review isn't the place to detail the mechanics of such things. Jason DeParle's 2020, A Good Provider is One Who Leaves is just one book that addresses the situation. But in short, it's the plight of Filipinos who are only able to provide for their families by taking work overseas and sending money back home. That's the climate in which this thwarted couple operates. While Hello, Love, Goodbye largely followed Joy and Ethan's struggles as Off was in Hong Kong, Hello, Love again introduces multiple wrinkles in a fractured timeline that shifts several years back to the pandemic and fast forwards to the present day. Which at first is mostly pretty cute. You see, in 2024, the inadvertently reunited Joy/Marie and Ethan are both trying to get by in Calgary, both at different stages in their struggling careers. The intervening years saw an apparently bitter breakup, and a series of flashbacks brings viewers up to speed as Joy and Ethan pivot from a brief idyllic romance to the difficult realities of a world turned topsy-turvy during lockdown. Those pandemic scenes are a stark contrast to what starts out as a silly rom-com, complete with a goofy supporting cast. Hello, Love, Goodbye follows two timelines, a present of bad feelings and resentment from Joy, now Marie to emphasize her mood, and a past in which the doomed lovers fall apart. It's a complex arc, emotionally and narratively, and the tone shifts none too cleanly from the broad comedy to working-class strife. For instance, during the pandemic, Ethan had to take a job cleaning bathrooms in a house where Joy worked as a nurse in a country where she's not certified, despite experience. Of course, Ethan's goofy friend Jahim Joros Gamboa tries to get the couple back together in the present. Life goes on despite the hardship. People fall in and out of love no matter their national economic disaster. This is not high drama, but as pop cinema, it tries to address hard issues through a tear-jerking romance. Hello, Love again looks like slick entertainment, on the level of a melodrama or telenovela. But within these commercial trappings, the film depicts a genuine, relatable humanity, and the lead actors easily handle both the hallmark fluff and the darker emotions. Along with Joy/Marie, we see Ethan's maturity, from his disgust at taking what he sees as menial work, to the dignity he maintains even when taking out the trash. Even if you haven't seen the first film, you see he's growing up, and Richards conveys this perfectly. Even more impressive is Bernardo, whose role for much of the film is that of romantic pawn. When she gets her chance to let her guard down, it's devastating. Curiously, going by Letterboxd reviews of Hello, Love Again, fans of the original film hate the sequel, one reviewer calling it mere fanfic. Does it help that this critic hasn't seen Hello, Love, Goodbye? Is a newcomer to this franchise better equipped to open their heart to its old-fashioned and ultimately chaste domesticity? Whether or not one has seen the first in the series, the filmmakers clearly know how to push your buttons, all while raising awareness of the plight of the OFW. There was simply no way that Kathy Garcia Sampana's Hello, Love Again could have lived up to its 2019 predecessor, only the second highest grossing Filipino movie of all time, and a great example of a blockbuster romantic drama done right. But even as this Canada-based sequel gives in to contrived plotting and half-baked characterization, much of it also manages to keep the DNA of Hello, Love, Goodbye intact. At least up to a certain point, the film remains a serious, honest portrait of overseas Filipino workers and the difficult, if not outright dehumanizing, nature of having to work one's way back up from the bottom of the ladder. There is a clear moment in the film where Garcia Sampana and her writers, Carmi Raimundo and Crystal S. San Miguel, take a sharp turn and ask us to majorly suspend our disbelief, a gambit that the movie doesn't really recover from. But up to that point and beyond, typically strong work from Kathryn Bernardo keeps the drama anchored to genuine, complicated emotion. The film begins on a clean slate, breaking up the relationship between nursing graduate Joy Bernardo and Hong Kong bar owner Ethan Alden Richards when they cross paths post-pandemic in the city of Calgary. This setup alone, at first, feels like a cheap way to manufacture conflict between two already firmly established characters. But hello, love, again, makes a surprisingly sound case for itself. In flashbacks spread throughout the film's first half, the dissolution of the couple's seeming happy ever after is depicted as their dreams crumbling under the pressure of one new responsibility, one new expense, and one new misunderstanding after another. We get these flashbacks in increasingly more frequent fragments, an editing choice by Maria Ignacio that comes off quite effectively as a wave of anxious memories coming back to our protagonists' heads. As the breakup is revealed to us, the film is both smart and compassionate enough not to side strictly with either Joy or Ethan. Joy's continuing habit of taking on more than she can reasonably handle is a move obviously made out of desperation to make ends meet. While Ethan, who, let's be clear, is absolutely not a saint, finds himself sorely beaten down by the embarrassment of getting lost on his delivery route and later having to clean up human feces. Even when Ethan puts the final nail in the coffin for the two of them, the conditions under which the couple have to work during the outbreak of COVID-19, no less, always remain the greatest antagonist. It's also during these sequences where Richards and Bernardo are at their most compelling. The biting arguments they get into have nothing to do with either of them falling out of love with the other, but with the circumstances of their work shortening their capacity for patience and empathy. Richards makes sure to never forget how Ethan holds onto his own ego, his former success in Hong Kong constantly tempting him away. But it's Bernardo who continues to prove how strong she's grown as an actress, having gotten to know this character inside and out, and allowing every conflicting emotion to dawn on her during any given moment. When she scolds Ethan for getting into a fight with a disrespectful co-worker, her annoyance and anger are mixed with a desire to break through to his better nature. You can practically see the gears spinning in her head as she already tries thinking of new ways to recoup their losses. It's when Hello, Love again gets to that previously mentioned moment, around halfway through the film, that it loses most of its moral complexity in favor of a fake marriage plot that might have a legal basis, but is still depicted as a fan fiction fantasy. This sudden diversion in the plot isn't necessarily unwelcome, but both characters' emotional journeys are undeniably accelerated through this entire second half, and all the way until a lazy ending that rings far too easy and feels like a betrayal of the maturity that Hello, Love, Goodbye so often displayed. When the film's focus shifts away from the particulars of OFW work and of maintaining good relationships at the same time, the rest of the film's imperfections also begin to show. Where Hong Kong was given its own unique color and character in the previous film, there's a generic quality to the way Calgary has been depicted here. The smallness of the world and its lack of distinct cultural markers make the characters' decisions feel all the more arbitrary. Even after a strong first half, Hello, Love, again essentially admits to a lack of trust in the things that make it more real, which made the first film so deeply felt by a general audience.